Hey guys, this is Atlanta Goat Format here. I have Clay Miller, and today he top aided our Goat Grand Prix Atlanta. Just tell us what you're piloting today and what place you got.
I'm playing the Chaos Turbo. Got third place after Swiss, and then ended up in the top 8, so fifth place.
Yes,
Tie.
and tell us about this mat that you got for top
This mat
80.
is sick. I honestly can't. Like, it's really, really incredible. I'm very happy to actually have this thing.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
let's get into the deck profile.
All right. So obviously some standard stuff. We got BLS and then 2 Sorks.
Oh, do it the other way.
Oh yeah. Right. Naturally. BLS, the double Sork, and then I actually played this deck at y'all's last 2 events. I got did okay one and then got whacked the last one. So I was like, what am I doing wrong? And I looked online and this guy right here, James Hames, he had some spice, which was a Zaborg. I was like, well, he won. He did really well, so obviously I should be playing that. And also a Spirit Reaper. So there's the different stuff right up front. And then we got more standard, the Dragon, the Sinister. I'm only playing 1 Night Assailant because to make room for these 2, I actually cut a Night Assailant and a Dakochi. And then I'm playing 3 Spies, 2 Magicians, the Sook.
Yep.
And then we got a Breaker, try to come over that side, Breaker, Tribe, and then the Sanga. So that's all the monsters right there. Mostly standard stuff, like I said, except for the Reaper and the Zaborg.
So how was the board today? Because
these 2 cards are fantastic.
Oh yeah,
they're incredible. This card against all the aggro matchups, and then this card in the mirror match was insane.
Oh yeah,
but it came up in other matchups too. Like I played against a Cyberstein deck at one point, and just having this in there. He ended up having to snatch steal it because he couldn't out it with anything else.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I'll show you my sides, but I ended up having it on his side of the field with a snatch steal for like 12 turns. So I gained like 12,000 life points back. So both of them are just like utterly incredible, and they just have to out this. Like they just have to answer it because otherwise you just rip cards over again for free.
It puts a lot of pressure on your opponent.
Yeah, that's really what it is. And this deck struggles so much with aggression. So
Yeah.
having both of these 2 just allows you to actually kind of like change up the tempo and start pushing at them for stuff. And then for spells, we've got the Trinity,
Of course.
the double knock, snatch, space, heavy, and the 2 upstarts. So pretty standard spell lineup. And then for traps, we've got a Torrential, Mirror Force Ring, so the Trap Trinity. And then we've got 2 Wind Blasts. I've been liking this a lot more than the Raigeki breaks. It like outs a lot more stuff that the other one doesn't. And like even stuff that you might think you want a Raigeki break, it ends up being better to just Wind Blast it.
Yeah. And I think Wing Blast, it helps, put your opponents, set them back a turn too.
It does, yeah. So like the mirror match, it's much better. If they set a flip monster and you just wait for them to draw, then you just do it in their standby phase. Now they're set back 2 turns basically. They got to reset it and then redraw it, etc. And then I kept finding there's been a lot of testing and stuff. So at one of the tournaments, I kept drawing I'd have all the discard fodder in the world, and I just couldn't draw anything to actually use them. So I'd just be getting beat down with double Dragon, Night Assailant, and Sinister in hand. So I actually went up to 3 of the discard traps.
Okay.
Instead of the card destruction, because it gets kind of stuck in your hand, and these are a lot more reactive. And the reason this is a different one is I kind of couldn't decide on which traps to run, and also at the last event I played triple jog, and I was even testing reckless greed, and I found out just going super turbo is not the way.
Right.
You need real traps. So I played the 1 jar, 1 Saku, 1 trap, and 1 salt.
So 1 dust shoot. Why the 1 dust shoot?
So it's really good against the Chaos Mirror, and it's really good going first. But it ends up being dead against a lot of other decks. And you've already got a bit of an advantage in the Chaos Mirror because you can actually apply pressure when they can't. So many times in the mirror match, you just sit there and with the open field and they can't do anything because they've got a Sook in hand or cards they want to set. So you've already kind of got the aggression covered, but having the 1 dust shoot, it's good to have.
Yeah.
But it mostly just throws them off. They'll see the 1 dust shoot, or they'll see the Sakuretsu, or they'll see the Solemn. Oh, he's on the Solemns, or he's on the Jar of Greeds, or whatever. But they just can't predict what your trap cards are. Yeah. And that came up a lot.
And I really like the 1 Jar of Greed tech as well. It's good to chain it to a breaker or a dust or space.
Exactly. And so when they see these, they're like, oh, they're all real back row, so they'll just breaker in space. I got so many pluses off of this.
Yeah,
heavying. One guy heavied it. It was the only back row, so I just chain that.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Feeling a lot better about this game all of a sudden. So that's that. That's the main. And then I actually have an extra deck. So we got, your standard stuff, the TR, et cetera, et cetera. You guys know what goes in the fusion decks here.
I think everybody kind of knows.
Yeah, exactly. One guy made a joke about me having the twin-headed Thunder Dragon, and I actually do, but no poly, unfortunately. But then for the side, I've been trying the Sakuretsus and the Zombira, kind of the standard stuff. It just wasn't working. Like, I was still losing to Thunderclap and Warriors. Not that it's not a good side. I just, I don't know, it would just go wrong.
Yeah. I see some Chaos players, they like to side into the aggressive traps.
Yeah.
I guess it's really up to preference or how they play.
Right.
Yeah.
So, the Sakuretsus, the Sakus tested good, and the Zombira would sometimes test good, but I don't know, it just wasn't doing enough. And so I just went with the other option.
Yeah, that card's really good.
Yeah, this is so much better against the aggro mirrors.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I didn't feel like I had any trouble. I hadn't played Warriors round 1, didn't have any trouble. Played against the Stein player. This was why I gained so many life points. So it just could not kill me through all the goats and me gaining 1,000 every turn. So this was really, really, really good. I wouldn't recommend changing. This is just
especially creature swap against decks like Warrior. They usually just summon one monster and then you just set another and you just give them the one you don't want. And you're just up in advantage against them basically. With that card.
So I played against the guy I played against earlier. He had a DD Warrior Lady and a Spirit Reaper. Yeah. It's he was at 2,200, and I just switched the token to attack and creature swap, and he was like, "All right, I really got to think about this." So I was like, "That's fine." So he thought about it for a while, but I'm staring at a sorcerer in my hand. I'm like, "It doesn't matter. I'm just gonna give you that and then smack the token, and it's over."
Yeah, it gets them shaking.
Yeah, exactly. So. It was let him get a little worked up before the next game, I guess. But he was a good player. I made what I thought was the right choice, but it just ended up not mattering. So it's super, super good. Then for the mirror match, we got the Kaikus, the Minecons, and then one Dust Shoot. Because it is just it's just too good. Yeah. And I was without this one last time and got destroyed by Reasoning Gate. So I thought I'd better come with them this time. And of course, I still lost to a Reasoning Gate deck, but you win some, you lose some. Yeah. But these never came up. I just never drew them.
Oh,
really.
Yeah. Okay.
I think I got a Dakochi once today, but the Trap Dust Shoot.
But ideally, it's pretty good in the mirror.
Yeah, in theory, it should be. I just would open double knock or something, and then we get to the end of the game, it's there's not anything to take anymore. And then the Kaiku, I usually just sided the 4, but every now and then I don't know. I wasn't really 100% sure what I was doing, but I didn't lose any mirrors today, so I guess it was all right.
It's good.
Except the one, But the master, you gotta let him know. And then I thought maybe we'd have some burn players today because we keep having so many of them. So
Mystic
this is
Walk, Mobius,
yeah, this is obviously standard, and then this is just good because you've already got the Zaborg in there, so you can swap into this instead. I thought about making that a Jinzo, but I don't know. Chain energy is much more scary.
Yeah, and we saw that a lot. Every tournament we see somebody playing chain energy.
Yeah, it's 3 copies. The chain energy technology is too strong.
But yeah, you always have to side something for burn.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. So I just figured that was probably the right thing to do.
Are there any changes you would make to the list at all? Is there anything?
Probably just figuring out these. These right here are probably the thing I would figure out. Most of my losses were just to playing probably suboptimally. So I'm gonna have to kind of mentally run through those again and figure out what I did wrong. There wasn't really any I shouldn't have played this card or that card or whatever. So it was pretty good. And I didn't play against Burn, so I don't know. Maybe this isn't enough, but it seems like in theory it should be.
Do you have any shout outs for us? Anybody you want to shout out?
Shout out to Xanadu and Riley, my 2 compadres that came up here with me. Xanadu, I should say girlfriend, I suppose. She might get mad at me if I don't specify. And then my friend Riley, he always comes up and shows up for the tournaments and stuff too. The only Yu-Gi-Oh he plays is Go, so it's always good to have him come up here.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming out, especially to all our events. You've been playing, you've been topping, so you top 8'd the GGP, one of the biggest GOAT tournaments ever. So this is the first one in Atlanta, so big congrats, Clay. Congrats.
And honestly, thank you guys so much for doing these things. We've been playing GOATs for years, and it is so nice to just have someone that does actual GOAT.
Oh yeah, for sure. So. That's the goal, is to just bring more events, especially to Georgia. Get the community back up going.
Yeah, we have a good scene here, so it's good that y'all are doing.
They're there. We just need to get them to come out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Again,
Thank you,
this we have Clay Miller top 8 at the GGP Atlanta. This is Atlanta GOAT format. Signing off. Thank you.